Hi guys, Puddin here with a game for you in my tier 10 Japanese battleship, the Yamato. As you can see, I am divvied up. My captain skills are priority target, expert marksman, adrenaline rush, basics of survivability, vigilance, concealment, and of course fire prevention. My modules are protect my main batteries, longer shooting AA, faster shooting guns, DAMCOM 1, DAMCOM 2, and more concealment. And like I was saying, as you can see, I'm divvied up with 3FM in his Midway. Now, there is a reason you are not seeing the minimap and you are instead seeing his gameplay. This was one heck of a good carry, one heck of a good game I think both of us put on. Now, I'm sure many of you are questioning, why am I playing a Yamato when I'm divvied up with a carrier? It's going to be a guaranteed carrier. Because 3 kept yelling at me because I was playing too aggressive in my Montana, and instead of playing the perfect balance of aggression with passive play and really just preserving my hit points for towards the end of the game, we were having a little win some, lose some struggles. But once I started playing a little bit more passive for myself, we started doing quite well. Well, that all started when he told me to just play the freaking Yamato, because he knows when I play the Yammy, I don't like to brawl. Many of you know I like to lead by example instead of just being a follower. I like to lead the charge. I don't want to be the one following the charge. I will kite when I have to. I will try to hold the flank when I have to. But once again, I would like to dictate if I'm the one who's trying to hold the position, or if, kiting away or leading the charge. Now, I did the best with 3's replay and the ability to keep his planes in the action for his recording. As you can see, he's dropping in on the smoke cloud. I'm aiming it on this enemy Montana, who's still showing me broadside. This gentleman is going extremely slow. I believe he's going maybe a quarter speed. Now, I do want to give a big shout out to 3, because I actually make several mistakes throughout this gameplay. And 3 did yell at me during this game and said, "Hey, stop screwing up. Like, you're doing everything you're not supposed to be doing." Which is kind of why, like I was saying, I picked the Yamato, just because these turrets just don't turn fast, and I'm going to have a little bit more a difficult time to really dictate what I want to do. And the way I dictate is stay medium to long and use my concealment to my advantage. So Montana's still showing me plenty of broadside, but I did follow in my shots just so I could see if I needed to aim down a little bit more, aim up a little bit more prior to this. But this guy's still going slow, still a Yamato at the end of the day, and this guy's still broadside. And there's 30,000 damage done to him with a Citadel. Now, I don't know why this guy didn't immediately speed up, not shoot, try to go dark, because he knows somebody just whacked him for a good chunk of his health. But as you can see, he actually started angling in a little bit more. I'm still aiming at the nose to try to have these shells fall in midship and just do plunging fire to get to the Citadel that way. But he did turn enough to mitigate most of my damage. Now, as we can see, we're on ocean here, which is another reason why I covered up the minimap, because you can kind of see a little bit of the minimap from 3's perspective, but there's nowhere to hide. I'm trailing most of these guys and trying to keep the enemy at an arm's length to myself. But as you can barely make out, I am just on the edge of the A-cap. Now, I'm not exactly far away from the A-cap, but I'm not on it. I am behind my teammates, using them for kind of a, I hate this, but you know, let them take some of the damage a little bit first than me. The Fletcher disappears, but you know what? I do see this North Cal getting in trouble, and you know what? I'm going to try to take the lead up for him. Now, I was waiting for the Fletcher to not die to, I believe that was 3 who just torqued the Fletcher, maybe not. No, it was the destroyer that killed him. I was waiting for that Fletcher initially to kind of see if he was slowing down, turning, or doing something. But as you can see, you know, I'm really not doing anything to put myself in harm's way. I'm just here to try to let 3 do his job. As they get a massive hit on this poor Neptune. But really, if you are in a game with a good carrier, and if you know the guy is a good carrier, really all you need to do is just try to survive, to give him as much time as possible to do what he can. Now, the other thing is, you do see 3's planes come in a little bit late. But that was because he was cycling through them. You know, I did ask 3, I'm like, hey, I'm going to need fighters. And he's like, they're on the way. You know, they're reloading. I'm like, okay, I'm just communicating to him what I need. And that's probably one of the biggest things where most people fail at is communication. I have failed to let 3 know what targets I'm shooting, so he knows not to try to go after them. He calls something out and I try to take it out. Now, if I needed to switch something to deal with it, I do. Sorry about that, but we are in communications with this, and you know what? I'm like, you know what? There's a Montana that's got my broadside, and I get punished for it. I'm like, I'm taking a shot. I've got to get rid of this guy. You know, I can't afford for him to just stay there. As they finished him, but as you can see, 3 was bringing his bombers there. But I told him, I said, hey man, I need to get rid of this guy. I know you have AP bombs. You know, he's got my broadside. Just told him, let me see if my shot can take care of it. He's like, okay. He goes, watch what I'm going to do to this Roma. I'm like, okay. And you know what? I see the Midway, and I jokingly tell him, hey, let me take care of this Midway to get rid of any opposition for you. But at this point, you know, 3 was going to go for the Yamagi, and I said, no, I'll take care of the Yamagi. If you can just outright delete something, that's what you should go for. And he goes, okay. He goes, well, I should be able to get rid of the Roma. But all throughout this, we are communicating, you know, calling out what we need. Now, when I did call for fighters, I do know that it does take him some time to cycle through his fighters. But, you know what? This is the point where 3 says, hey man, you're the most forward guy. I need you to fall back. I'm like, okay, well, I got to shoot at this Roma just to try to discourage him from shooting at me, you know, because I should be able to punish him. But, of course, I didn't. Now, you know, I do tell him, I said, hey, you know, there's a Kiev. If you just kind of keep him spotted, I will shoot at him. And I do believe 3 is dropping torps at him, trying to get the gentleman, but actually, I'm not sure what 3 is dropping on, because I forget. But you know what? I tell him, you know what? I'll try to take care of the Kiev. If you just keep the guy spotted, I believe 3 was torping the cluster of enemies because he knows there's not significant AA to deal with. But I'm like, you know, if you can, just spare a fighter to try to keep this Kiev spotted so he doesn't go dark on me. He's like, you know what? If I can, I will. But I think that's the one thing most people should remember. If you ask your CV to do something, and it doesn't do it, there may be a reason for it. I have the advantage of I'm in voice comms with him, so all he's got to say to me is, I can't do that right now. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, when you can. Now, I am taking shots in on the Roman that 3 has been drilling over because he can just outright delete him. I'm like, but, you know, and I'm telling him, like, I can't outrun this guy. I've got to try to do something to discourage this guy from continuing to push on me. My heal's on cooldown. Well, it was on cooldown. You know, it came back. I immediately used it to try to get my health back. But, you know, I really hate just to hammer home one thing, but, I mean, we are communicating. And this is the point where 3 says, I'm sending my planes in on the Roma, and I shouldn't have taken that shot. I should have shot at something else, but, you know what, during this battle, I was in full panic of, you know, that guy keeping me spotted, and just letting these guys hammer home. Because I had forgotten about the Kiev. Now, as you can see, I'm so close to the ACAP still, and I'm still kiting away. I'm trying to let some of my teammates try to take the mantle. Like, you know what, I believe I did it for the North Cal, and I'm really hoping that somebody else does it for me. Like, you know, I'm low. Let me use my strengths to my advantage, which is actually long-range shooting, which is a weakness of me. But you know what? If you get in there and just get the pressure off these guys, I will turn around and re-engage. Luckily, the Hipper was shooting AP. But this is the point where the communication between 3 and myself is really going to come into play. Because I'm like, you know what? I need to get rid of this Hipper. Because, you know, I believe this gentleman had defensive fire, and 3's like, you know, we do have to get rid of this cruiser. And then that's when the Kiev showed up. I'm like, well, luckily for me, the Hyper's just shooting AP. I said, but unfortunately, I'm turning broadside. I have to deal with this Kiev. I cannot afford to get this to be set on fire multiple times. So 3 goes after the Hipper and actually manages to finish him. You know, because, you know, I told him, I says, you know, I've got AP loaded. I'm going to make this turn, and this guy is going to hurt. I'm burning. I'm trying to save my repair for, you know, multiple fires. It's the reason I'm running fire prevention. It's just to make it a little bit harder. As I finish off the Kiev, who for whatever reason decided to stop shooting me. But, you know, this is when I let 3 know, like, listen, this is it. This is all the health I have. I'm not getting any more back. Now, the other thing is, usually I will ask somebody who can type a little bit faster than me if I'm divvied up to type stuff out in chat. And you may not appreciate 3's abrasiveness, but 3 is a little bit abrasive, and you know, he's trying to tell these guys, you're like, hey, they need to push. I can't be the one to push because I'm just not going to last long. I let 3 know, don't worry about the Amagi. I will take out the Amagi. I'm like, if you focus on the NC, I'll focus on the Amagi there. Now, as you can see, you know, there's multiple people shooting at the Yamagi, which is a good thing. I probably should have hit the F3 to get a little bit more people so we can focus things down, as I believe on the dive bomber drop, 3 FM got Confederate. Now, I am making a push into the camp because, you know what, we are behind by 200 points, but we still have our carrier, we still have 1 cap, so we're not getting too far behind. There are plenty of low ships for people to finish off to even up the scores, and that goes the same on both sides. And this is what I'm saying about all you have to do is try to survive to let your carrier do their job. Now, several times I anticipated these shots killing the Yamagi, and which is why I was trying to preemptively turn my turrets, because everybody knows these turrets do turn extremely slow. But you know what? I do see Three's got his planes in the air. He's getting them ready for a strike. I see this shot and I'm like, I just has to be it. Finally, I get that guy, and I turn my ship and my guns at the same time because it's the fastest way to get my turrets to turn. Now, I let them know I'm going after the North Cal because, well, I can't see anything else, so it's the obvious choice. As I nail Kraken Unleashed. Now, at this point, I didn't even know I was sitting on this many kills or this much. I was more or less just like, my God, how am I going to survive? I'm constantly begging Three to just, dude, I need fighters, because if this guy comes after me, he can easily wipe me out. Now, as you can see in chat here, somebody's making fun out of people getting beat by a guy named Puddin, but whatever. There are funnier names. Now, you know, we're making our push. I'm trying to get back with the guys to maximize AA to help them, to help me. And it helps Three out. It helps out the carrier because he doesn't have to have his fighters all over the place. He just needs his fighters to be in one area to help protect everybody. Now, I do believe Three calls out where he believes the carrier is going to be, which means I am going to start turning my guns where he is suspecting, because at this point I actually looked at the team panels and I said, hey, Three, you're one away from Kraken. I'm going to do everything I can to deny you your Kraken. Now, it was all, good, haha, fun, but you know what? I'm not intentionally trying to deny him his Kraken. What I'm trying to do is just soften up the target, and the other thing is, it's the only thing left, so everybody's going to be shooting at it. Why not? Just sitting here holding my guns, not doing anything, is just not going to do it. But if somebody would have called out in chat and says, hey, let the carrier get the Kraken, and nobody else shooting, I would have just, okay, let him get his Kraken. But, nobody's saying that. As those shells come in, as I get a high caliber, and at this point I start going to Three. Haha, I'm doing better than you because I got a Kraken and a high caliber. And he's like, well, you know what, I've got a Dev Strike and Confederate. I go, well, there's my Confederate. And and that, so we're just kind of having fun at this point, because we know this is the end of the game. It's just a matter of who or what is going to get it. But these shells come in, Three drops his torp, so if my shells don't kill him, Three's torps get him, Three gets his Kraken Unleashed, and now we're just going to check out the post-battle results. Now, I know you guys may have found my explaining what I was doing a little less than normal, but I really wanted to stress home communication. As you can see by the scoreboard here, we did a very good job carrying it, and it came down to communication. We were always talking to each other. Three was telling me what I was doing wrong. I was telling Three what I needed to be successful. Three was telling me what he needed to be successful, and we just helped each other out. It didn't matter if my guns couldn't turn or whatever. If Three asked for me to do something, I was going to do it. If I asked Three for something, and if he could do it, he was going to do it. Like when I called for fighter support, if he wasn't actively fighting fighters, he was going to send his fighters to me. So just remember, guys, if you are in a division, and you, even if you're not in a clan or using some sort of TeamSpeak or Discord, the in-game voice function works. If you can use it, if not, use the chat box. I'm a slow typer, which means voice communication works so much more for me. I do want to thank 3FM for this glorious game and for his replay, because this game couldn't have been possible without him. This is the whole thing for this is because 3 helped me out and I helped him. Teamwork and communication will overcome an awful lot. Doesn't overcome everything, but it will overcome an awful lot. The other thing is, remember, just try to survive to give your carrier as much time as they needed to potentially win. There are going to be times where you're just going to have to say, we need to go for it. Our carrier isn't doing it. We need to cover up for his slack. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this replay. We do enjoy the replays you guys do send in to us. We do love all the support you guys give us, and if you want to continue to send replays, the email is in the description down below. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and have yourselves one heck of a great day.